That's a really old school doorbell.
Sorry, who are you?
I just wanted to talk to you about God. Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Here, this is Cooks. Daniel Connell is a comedian. He's a dad, a sports fan. He's a child of the water from Batemans Bay on the New South Wales south coast. He's a maker of sandwiches and not a fan of sitting to eat, but most importantly, Daniel's a very, very funny bloke. He's an absolutely masterful stand-up and an all-around great guy. So enjoy this conversation as Daniel Connell cooks. Daniel, tell me what you're making for me today.
So we started?
Yeah, let's get into it.
What am I? Well, James, thanks for coming over to my house for starters. I am making a prawn sandwich.
I gathered because I asked you if you needed anything before I came over.
Yeah.
And you said, can you get me some prawns and some bread? So I put two and two together and I thought, he's going to make a bloody prawn sandwich here.
And I've already got the seafood sauce in the fridge. So you can make your own.
What actually is seafood sauce?
Well, a lot of people will just often mix mayonnaise and tomato sauce together to get a seafood sauce.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not too far off that, really. This one will probably have a little bit more mustardy sort of spice in it, a little bit of lemon oil.
Oh, yeah.
Herb extract. Some people like to make their own, but I just think these are just...
Not this guy.
Yeah, you want to make it as easy, you want to get it in your mouth as quick as possible. That's what I say.
That's right.
I've always said that about everything in life.
Okay, so we've got a bag of prawns.
Bag of prawns, which I haven't seen this before.
Yeah.
It's like a chook bag.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I was surprised as well. I mean, I got to say, I was actually, even though your instructions to me were pretty clear.
Yeah.
You're like 7 prawns if it's just you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, if you want some, get another 7.
Yeah.
So I got 14. I threw in. I got a baker's 14. So
Okay.
I've got 15 prawns in there. But I was actually questioning everything because they're whole prawns. Do you want whole prawns?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you just peel them down to the meat, down to the flesh. So these are actually quite big for a prawn sandwich. I said to get tiger prawns. Are these tigers?
Well, allegedly.
Are
No,
they?
they're not.
Let me have a look. I worked in... they're a Crystal Bay. So they are a type of, they're pretty close. They're still going to taste delicious.
Good. Well, we might get seconds then.
I worked in Woolies growing up from 15 to, say, 19, 20. I worked in seafood section.
No way.
So on the coast in beautiful Batemans Bay. So
This was in Batemans Bay. Okay.
seafood was very popular in my gob.
See, I feel like growing up in...
Do you want me to start peeling while we're talking?
Yeah, let's get into it. And tell me, do you want a hand?
No, I'll do it. It's all right.
I feel like I've grown up in Melbourne my whole life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like seafood here has not really been as much of a thing as you'd expect, like living on a bay. Most of the Australian population lives around the coastline. But I feel like it's not really... Seafood is not as big a thing, at least in my life, as I feel like it should have been. But in Batemans, was it different?
I would agree with that, Melbourne. I think once you got to sort of get down to your Morningtons, your Frankstons, your Lawns, that part you start to... Seafood's a bit more prominent, I think.
Yeah.
You'll see little prawn bands and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the city, it's not... It's more of a coffee culture than a prawn culture.
It is a bit, and coffee doesn't pair all that well with fish. I
Well,
find.
it depends. Yeah. I don't drink coffee, so I couldn't tell you.
But you do drink fish.
I love a schooner of fish. So Batemans Bay, very prominent. Because Batemans Bay's main export is oysters. So Clyde River oysters are what that town is all about.
All right.
So I grew up, Dad and I used to go most Sundays, and we'd just be able to go 5 minutes away from home, the Cullendalla Creek it's called, and just go and get, either take the fishing rods and get some fish, but sometimes we wouldn't even fish, we'd just walk straight in and get mussels straight off like just big bunches of mussels off the rocks or out of the sand, and just take them home and have them for lunch.
That is idyllic.
Yeah, straight on the barbecue.
Jesus.
Where you go? Do you want to eat one to test it?
Oh, hell yeah.
First of all, before we move on, sorry to interrupt, but do you take the poo shooter out or do you leave it in when you peel a prawn?
Oh, I take it out.
See, I leave it in.
Why is that?
Because all it is sand. It's just salt. There's just more flavour for you. Yeah. All they eat, prawns they're not eating, they're not going up to a fish and eating its ass, Prawns, they're just in the sand, burrowing around.
They have a reputation as filthy animals, though, don't they?
What do you
Bottom
mean?
feeders.
Well, yeah, they are bottom feeders, but what's on the bottom in the ocean?
Yeah, exactly. I think when I think of bottom feeders, I just think that they're feeding off bottoms.
Yeah,
it's more of a word association with me.
Yeah.
But there's something about removing the nous of the prawn. To me, it's a mental hurdle. I need to remove it.
So you don't like your anuses in food?
I prefer.
Well, it's not really the anus, is it? It's just the colon. The colon down to the colon tract. Anyway, I don't mind I'm happy to take it out for you today.
Do prawns have anuses? I guess that's
they'd have to, wouldn't they?
Actually, they have sphincters.
They'd have to.
If we have any biologists listening, that'd be good to know.
Nice, yeah.
What was it called? Crystal Bay.
Oh, they were.
Classic Crystal Bay. There we go.
Crystal Bay. See that? I just looked at them.
Yeah. Jeez, you're
still
good.
Got it.
So you're a bit of a sly dog here because
it's unfair.
You've had a few interesting journeys in your career. You worked at Woolies in the seafood section.
Yeah, started big.
You've cooked as well though. You've had lots of time in kitchens.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the trade I chose after school, cooking. I did certificate 3 in commercial cookery at TAFE.
And what does that involve?
It's 2 years of everything in the kitchen, theory, and then you got to become qualified as a chef. I think I had to do I can't remember the exact amount of hours, but it was a shitload of hours, like 3,000. Does that sound too many?
Great.
Maybe not that many. 2,000? 2,000 hours maybe. That sounds a bit more realistic.
Jeez, it's not to overwhelm the kids at the start of the course. Just need to tick this small box, which is 2,000 hours of work.
But that's kind of post 2 years in TAFE. So
wow.
So I did the 2 years, and then I don't know what I was doing. I can't say I liked it. There was nothing really about it that I liked. It was weird. I had a couple of really good mates that I did it with, and that was kind of we'd just go and drive down to Maria, which is about 20 minutes from Batemans Bay, and it was always like Wednesday night, so we'd go to the pub or the movies after. That's probably what I enjoyed most. And then I moved to Jindabyne.
Yes.
After that, and worked in a kitchen for about 4 years up there. I went up for one winter to do a snow season and ended up staying for 4.
And what were you doing? Like, what were you cooking?
So I was mainly in a sport and recreation camp. So a huge camp for school kids who come up and go to the snow. And then in summertime, they just on the lake, just in canoes and stuff. It's just like a week camp. There's ropes courses and all that sort of shit.
Beauty.
And you're feeding them breakfast, lunch and tea.
Oh, my God.
And it was, just massive. 400 kids. So just like if you cooked a beef stroganoff or something, it was in a boat, like a vat that you needed a boat paddle to stir. Not even lying. Yeah, like all that sort of size stuff.
That's serious.
Yeah, and then I dabbled in, when the work was a bit quieter there, I worked in an Italian restaurant in Jindabyne in the town. And that was all right. The guy was a bit of a prick, but it was, kitchen time. But I knew then in that real high-end, high-pressure kitchen in the Italian restaurant that it wasn't for me.
Why is that?
I think I do like doing things myself. I think I've always really liked being able to call the shots myself, and not that I don't like bosses. I've definitely had some bosses in different jobs that I loved you know, but I just didn't. So it just wasn't for me. That calling the chef, yes, chef, and answering like that, it's just not. It's just they could make it so much better, and I think it is getting better now. I think it's not like it was back then. That's probably, geez, that's only 20 years ago now.
Cooking has become so popular and almost like championed. You know, chefs are kind of like footballers these days.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. Because footballers are much better role models.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's sort of in the public's mind not much of an appreciation for the grind that is working in a kitchen.
Oh, it's like, yeah, when MasterChef started, I remember just laughing, just thinking, this is nothing like the real thing.
Yeah.
And I always thought about those young kids that would watch MasterChef and then be like, oh, I'm going to do that. And then they get into like, you know, some Italian restaurant in the suburbs and just get screamed at all night and go home off your feet. Like you just worked to the bone. I've done full comedy festivals where you just feel absolutely knackered at the end, but it's not until the end. Like every night in a kitchen, you just go home so tired, mentally drained and physically just, I take my hat off to anyone that does it and enjoys it.
Interestingly, by the way, you've been shelling these prawns, like maintaining eye contact the entire time, which is slightly unnerving, but also really impressive. That was the quickest shelling of 15 prawns I've ever seen. Well, no, 14 because you gobbled one.
I gobbled one. I've been in competitions before in my life where prawn peeling competitions.
No way.
Yeah, just from all those years in the Woolies, like a customer would come up and be like, can I try one? You get pretty good at the old head off, tail off, body off, poo shooter out. Yeah.
What's next? What are we doing next? So we have a bowl full of prawns.
So you just peel you just want your flesh. Everybody knows what that looks like, the orange prawns. Here's a little tip for people playing at home. One good thing to do with your prawn shells, if it's not bin night, freeze them. Just pop them in the freezer, all your shells.
No way.
So they don't stink everything out. So,
no way.
Yeah.
I heard of...
Not heard of that before?
No, I haven't at all.
As I was saying, I was like, surely everybody knows about this.
Not at all.
There you go.
And this is something that I think is going to come out from cooks, which is that everyone has their own little things happening in the kitchen.
Yes, yeah.
Like
that's my dad's favourite thing. Christmas Day, we always have prawns and oysters over in Batemans Bay for Christmas, and I think he enjoys freezing the prawn heads more than the rest of anything else in the day.
More than eating them.
Yeah, he loves like gathering them all up after everyone's eaten. We're like, righto, pop those in the freezer. Bin day's not until 4 nights. Yeah, that won't stink. Yeah.
Put them next to my keys so I don't forget the car.
Yeah, you put a post-it note or something on the fridge. Prawn shells in freezer.
We'll be straight back to the show in a second, but I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. You having fun? If you like the cut of Daniel's jibe, there's a special bonus episode for our Patreon subscribers. In that episode, we go into depth about Daniel's love of taking risks and some advice he has for up-and-comers. Just head to patreon.com/cookspodcast. That's patreon.com/cookspodcast for more info. And there's also a link in the show notes. And while I've got you, Daniel's also got a brand new comedy special out called Gutless Wonder. It's on YouTube. It's free to watch. It's 1 hour. I put a link in the show notes as well. Do yourself a favour and go and check it out. All right, enough from me. Let's get cooking.
All right, so these prawns have a little... This sandwich has a bit of a place in your heart, does it?
Yeah. I love. First of all, I love them. I love the taste, and I must admit, I did go off prawns for about, after I finished at Woolies, because I just ate so many in those Woolies years. Like, I just ate so many prawns and seafood extender. And
it's a great little snack, isn't it? They're very easy to smash.
Yeah.
Especially if they've already been shelled. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I used to go and do 4 till 8. I used to finish school, high school, and then go do 4 till 8, do the closing shift, and pack it all up and melt all the ice and put the fish in the freezer. And Mum would have dinner for me when I got home, and I just couldn't eat because I'd just be full of seafood every night.
Did you stink?
I smell the worst. I smelled like a mixture of bleach and fish guts, basically.
So how long were you single for during that
Oh,
period
the whole
of time?
It was funny. My dad used to pick me up before I had my peas, and all the windows in the car would already be down before I got in, and he would just be like, "Whoa!" And middle of winter, driving home, just freezing our faces off. Good times. So you peel your prawns. Mm-hmm. I've known people who like to put a splash of vinegar on them while they're just in the bowl, the flesh. I don't do that. Fresh bread. So we've got 2 plates out for us here. You can't see that on where you're listening, but they're lovely blue, small sandwich plates.
And they remind me of the ocean.
Yeah, beautiful. That's what we've gone for there. So yeah, they're very nostalgic, these. Christmas Day, always have a couple of prawn sangers. To be honest, I don't eat a lot of bread anymore. I don't know if you do. Do you eat much bread?
Bread is about 80% of my diet.
Okay.
Why the lack of love for bread?
Constipation, mainly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is about bread and me, but we don't, Yeah. I'll be clogged up for a month after Christmas Day, and I'm happy to do it.
So you said that this infant laxative here was for your son, but I can see a little colossal infant drops constipation relief.
Goes in every cup of tea I have.
There we go.
No, I don't know. Bread, I eat a little bit of multigrain.
Yeah.
I probably should point out I don't get constipated for a month, just quietly. Or constipated often, if you must know. But, I don't know. Bread just...
Has it always disagreed with you, or is this a recent thing?
Oh, it doesn't disagree with me. It's more of a diet thing, just trying to be healthy. Because white bread is obviously on the nose with society.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, but I make an exception for a prawn sandwich.
Okay,
you get the freshest, whitest bread you can get. Now, you can have other bread. If you're sitting at home thinking, I don't like white bread, well, get fresh whatever you eat. But if you eat white bread, you can't go wrong.
Now, I brought you a couple of options here, and I'm not sure if I've made a mistake because
you got sourdough. I wouldn't have a prawn sanger on sourdough.
Yeah, I had the Philippa's sourdough because I'm like, I don't know if
you can take
Dan's
that home
going to go
make love to that later.
Yeah, I will. And then I got the Woolies white bread, but then I was kind of thinking, maybe we should have got your classic bloody, what do you call it? I went to call it sorbent.
Sorbent.
Your classic
Wonder Soft or something.
Yeah, Wonder White. That's the one.
Yeah,
your classic Wonder White. Would that be
yeah,
that?
I wouldn't go that. I would go to a Baker's Delight and get a fresh white loaf. If you've got a Baker's Delight or a bakery, get a fresh white loaf made that morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Ideally. That real soft sponge in the middle. Yeah. So just lay them out. Bit of butter. Don't go crazy with your butter. Just a nice lather on all your bread. So I'd probably have two on Christmas Day, prawn sandwiches, and maybe one on Boxing Day.
What time of day are we talking?
Midday, yeah.
Does it have to tick over to afternoon?
It does, I reckon, yeah.
How about Boxing Day?
Same, yeah. It's a leftovers day, and Dad and I normally fight over the last bits of fresh bread. Sometimes too, if I'm just on the run and I'm home for Christmas and there's prawns left, I'll just have one piece of bread and just bend it in half and have your prawns in the middle.
Absolute renegade.
And then get back out to backyard cricket and send a couple of bounces down to my nephews.
What does Boxing Day look like for you?
Like that, just bounces for my nephews. Launching absolute bounces and beanballs at their head. They relive my past.
Boxing Day to me is absolutely sacred. It's like pretty much phone off.
Really?
I'm not contacting anyone. If a message comes through to me, there's a 90% chance I won't reply.
Yeah.
Eating food, boxer shorts all day, in keeping with the theme.
Yeah, right.
Cricket on.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaving the confines of my, I was going to say house, that includes garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, not going anywhere. And eating leftovers. Absolutely just gluttonous.
Yeah,
complete gluttony.
I do like to pull the ripcord around Christmas time. It is nice just to let it loose.
Oh, yeah.
For a couple of days.
Absolutely.
Put on 3 or 4 kilos.
Absolutely.
Do you eat Christmas pudding?
Yeah, so here's the thing. My mum makes Christmas pudding.
Same.
And it's... How good is Mum's Christmas pudding?
Unbelievable. Mum's is... I don't know if I ate it all the time. I don't know if I'd appreciate it as much. But just for that sort of 2 weeks that it's around, Christmas. She makes 2 big ones, so they last a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Ice cream custard.
Oh, yeah. So Mum makes, she does the brandy custard and then she lights the pudding on fire and throws it in the bin and kicks the bin down the street. Pudding's on fire and then, the brandy custard over the top with your vanilla ice cream. Oh, have it with a little dessert wine. Have you done that? Oh, my God.
Just have it with a cup of tea. What's dessert wine?
It's like
I don't really drink wine.
It's like a white wine.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet. And people call it sticky, like sticky wine. It's really sugary. Have it with a Christmas pudding. You will never look at Christmas pudding the same way. So these prawn sangers, I don't want to spoil anything here, but these also have make a guest appearance in a special of yours.
Yes. So we filmed a couple of comedy specials for the first time ever this year, 2022, and they'll be out soon, 2023. And because I've got a gag about which just leads into talking about prawn sandwiches and asking the crowd who has prawn sandwiches, and it's quite disappointing. Like I'd asked so many people this question, and if I probably asked a crowd of 100, 20 times, who eats prawn sandwiches, and it was never more than 10, which was so disappointing. But then I'd ask who eats prawns, and probably half the crowd ate prawns. And then I'd ask them if they've had a prawn sandwich, and a very small amount would say yes out of the 50 that eat prawns. I'd be just baffled. Like, you are missing out. You are absolutely missing out on one of life's great treats. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah, this look of disgust on your face.
Oh, it's right unbelievable. Now. I don't understand it. It's up there for me with blokey blokes, tough guys want to be alpha male blokes, won't go to day spas. But
such a good point.
You don't understand how good massages are at day spas. You got to let that barrier down of looking a bit feminine for a day.
Yeah.
And just get a massage, for God's sake. That's up there with my prawn sandwich beef. Like if I went out there now and went onto a job site and I said, who's the Aussiest sort of rough, won't change his ways, alpha male bloke on this job site, and I'd say, come with me, and I'd take him straight to a day spa, give him a full body. Not myself. I could, but I reckon just get one of the staff to do it, and then take him out for lunch and make him a prawn sandwich. He'd go back to the job site a whole new man. How couldn't you? We really got away from the prawn sandwich.
Yeah, we did. Hang on, let's come back to it actually, because I'm staring at these 4 pieces of bread.
I buttered them.
Yeah, all right. You've got the salt and pepper out.
Got the salt and pepper out. Should we start to put them together?
Yeah, let's assemble.
So you got your 2 pieces of bread flat out, buttered. Picture that at home. Beautiful white fluffy bread. And I'm just taking the prawn flesh, shaped like a smiley face. You know what I mean? Picture that in orange. No poo shooters, no legs, no heads, no tails. And I'm just sort of strategically popping. Well, how many is that going to fit? That's 6. Because they're big prawns, so you're only going to get 6 on these sangers. And you just want to put them down strategically so you've got a bit of prawn covering all surface of the bread, basically.
So there's a little bit of overlapping of the prawns. Almost like you're making a prawn yin and yang.
Yeah, you sort of tuck them in.
Yeah.
Tuck them into bed, ready to go down the hatch. There's 2 left, so we may as well eat those. And cheers.
Cheers.
2 left. A really nice prawn.
Oh, that's a nice prawn.
They actually taste fresh, which is random. Where do you get them from?
Woolies.
They'd be freshly defrosted, but they taste
nice.
Quite nice, yeah. Nice work.
They do taste a little bit different from a tiger prawn, actually. A bit saltier.
Saltier, not as sweet,
Yeah.
Tiger prawns I only say tiger prawns because they're just smaller and you get more on, but any sort of cooked prawn is delish.
All right, what are we doing now?
Well, now you just put a little bit of salt and pepper on. You don't have to, but I like to. Probably more salt than pepper. Just a little. You can hear that cracking there on the...
That was me kicking a ukulele over.
Fell over. Then a little bit of pepper, not more pepper than salt. You want more salt than pepper, in my opinion. A little bit on. So now they're looking salt, they're peppered, they're buttered, prawn flesh is on. Then I'm just going to take it just a standard home brand, whatever you get from, whatever brand you choose. Just go to Woolies, Coles, wherever you, IGA, wherever you shop. Make one if you want a seafood sauce, but I wouldn't bother. Takes up too much time. If you've only got mayonnaise and tomato sauce, mix those together.
Oh, yeah.
And you're laughing.
Okay.
Some people like to put lemon squeeze on or vinegar, as I said before. I don't bother about that. I like to let I want the prawn to be the real dominant thing jumping around my taste
hero.
buds. Yeah. Well put.
Okay.
It was already a hero, and it's even more of a hero once it gets into your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Then you just basically squirt. I would do like the best way to describe it, just like a circle around basically. Try and cover it all. But once you put the top bit of bread on, you will find it'll squish down and cover most of you. Just want to make sure every bite you get, you're in paradise basically. Every bite has a bit of the zesty sauce, bit of salt, bit of pepper, bit of prawn, bit of fresh bread.
Oh, yeah.
Going in. Then you just pop the top on.
Lovely.
Push it down. Bush, like that. And then you got your prawn sanger, mate.
Are we cutting it in half or you just gobble the whole thing?
It's wasting time. You're wasting time cutting it in half. It's all going in. It's all coming out the same way. Unless you want to cut it in half, you can cut it in half. But
It sounds like to me.
I'm dead against wasting time. I've made these in the high pressure situation on Christmas Day where uncles, dad, brother-in-laws are sniffing around, wanting the same thing. So you've got to be quick. Got no time to make a seafood sauce. Got no time to cut it. Get it made. Get it in your mouth. Paradise awaits.
So the theme to this sandwich, to this particular dish, is time is of the essence.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, there's no time to waste. You're in a rush.
Yeah.
Pressure is on.
Yeah.
And you want to gobble.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they all avoid, you want to gobble.
Another one of your sayings.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Which is mine.
The whole one. You can have the one with the hole in it.
Thank you.
He's bought a bread, people listening at home, he's got two of the weirdest breads he could have even, I don't know where he went to buy these breads. One's a low fibre, low GI, but it's white and it's fluffy and it's going to do the trick. But you know, you sometimes get those fancy breads that they've just got a hole in them for some reason.
That's right.
And then you're saying it doesn't happen with Baker's Delight.
I panicked.
I don't think it's big enough that your prawn's going to fall out.
I hope not.
So do you want to talk a bit more or do you want to hook in? Because you're not going to get much out of it.
No, that's right.
Just moans.
Shall we dig into these prawn sandwiches?
Mate, my taste buds are just absolutely dancing. Cheers.
Oh, hello. Oh, that's good.
A lot of flour coming off this.
Very full. Nice little zing. Nice little zing of the sauce. This is not acidic. Choking. There's too much flour on this bread, isn't there? It's trying to kill us. This is...
I took a breath in, it was just all flour. There's like a full packet of flour on this bread for some reason.
What a mistake. Oh, I can see how this is unbelievably smashable. You're not sitting down at the table for this, are you? This is you're making it, and you're standing in the kitchen over the kitchen bench.
Excuse me. This is so good.
And as you're choking, I think this is a pretty good opportunity to bring this to a close and just focus on smashing our prawn sandwiches. Daniel, thank you. Thank you for making this prawn sandwich.
Hope everybody listening makes one.
Please do.
Especially people who eat prawns and have never had a prawn sandwich. I think they're my target demographic.
It's a growth area. Definitely. Big opportunity.
Let us know how you get on. Definitely don't get floury bread. But once you get into it, oh my God. Paradise.
That's Cooks. Thanks for listening.
I've got over the I've got rid of the flour now. I'm enjoying that.
Rule number 1, don't kill your guests on a podcast.